All right,
Hello.
we're back. Feels like we didn't
Happy
do. I was
Happy
gonna
All
say
Saints Day.
whatever.
Happy All Saints Day. Had to
Does
get it
that
in
does that happen the day after
the
Halloween?
day after
All
Halloween. Yes.
all all
All Saints
Hallows
Day.
Eve. I think it's also the first day of Indian Heritage Month.
There you go. Yep. We are terrible white people.
Yep. You learn to appreciate that fact. We're still back on the top. Can't be beat.
Yeah. It's everybody else stinks except for us. It's just
I would
don't know.
only beat 3 other teams in the league with the amount that I scored. So I definitely got a favorable matchup.
You have your the universe is correcting itself, and you now have the lowest points against. Had to come around sometime.
I mean, I was playing the worst team in the league. It's not like a good team played bad.
Twice in a row.
Yeah. So we'll start there. Losers of the week, or winners of the week, me. I made the incorrect decision to start Caleb Williams. Still ended up working out. DeAndre Swift, my high score with only 18 points. How did I win this game? This is unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, it's a weird Ross here.
Yeah. Very, very strange to still put up 100 points. I think I've done that every week.
Tight end 1 and Tucker Kraft. How does that feel?
I was pretty excited when Love got hurt because Malik Willis can do 2 things. That is run the ball.
Run and throw the bomb.
And throw it to Tucker Kraft. It was actually a sneaky little play where it was a Malik option to the right side near the goal line where he either just keeps it and runs to the pylon or Tucker Kraft is wide open. Tucker Kraft was wide open. Touchdown. And then, Tucker had one long play before that.
Number 3 tight end. Best Green Bay tight end since Jermichael Finley.
Yeah, and he's, not even the tight end that we picked highest. That would be Luke Musgraves, who just continues to be hurt all the time.
Yeah, good job by you.
He is not starting this week for me, though.
Oh, that's there's a reason for this, and I need to check, not to get too ahead of ourselves. Who do you have in here? I'm blanking.
Plays for the Saints.
Oh, Taysom Hill, your guy.
I'm back. I spent $5 of free agent budget on him. Why? Okay. Why am I playing him? Because he's playing Carolina, and that is how you get points from players.
Oh, okay. So you're doing that. Maybe he'll throw a touchdown pass or get like a goal line running touchdown or something.
Yeah. But he's back. He's healthy. He's back in my lineup. Tom won again. Tom is cruising up the
he's coming back.
The power rankings. Starting in the bottom spot for a long time. I think he has 2 wins in a row.
He does. And I think not only are Saquon and Javonte's good. He didn't have a great game, but he's been really good. I think CeeDee Lamb has been a monster for him lately after, I think his contract dispute kind of played into him not having a great start to the season, but now he's really, really good.
Yeah, he's still the 5th ranked wide receiver, but he's coming back up. Tom even made the wrong decision on the quarterback. Herbert actually had a good game. Goff, they were beating him so bad and had kick returns and punt returns. The Lions barely had to throw the ball. But yeah, CeeDee Lamb was a monster, kind of in garbage time because the Cowboys were down by a lot, and then CeeDee Lamb just kind of took over the second half. Might be able to do that the rest of the year, but we'll see. Wes sneaks by with a win. He had 20 from Bijan, 26 from James Cook, who he got in the trade. So that ended up working out for him to snag a win there. Wes also has the second lowest points for in the league. Wes is not used to scoring 102 points.
No. Yeah, and this was, I don't know if you call it a favorable win for him or a favorable opponent, but he didn't need to do much to win this one. Though his trade did help him out a lot because he got James Cook, who gets him 26 points, and then Xavier Worthy had 11 points. I can't remember.
Yeah,
did he get Olave? Did he get Olave too?
Olave had 14. Xavier Worthy kind of got lucky because he scored a touchdown. He didn't have a lot of yards.
Sure. Yeah, points still count.
Got in the end zone. Highest scoring matchup of the week. Seth loses out to Lucas. Lucas had been on kind of a cold streak, bounces back. He's found his quarterback with Bo Nix somehow.
Robert Nix.
And then Travis Kelce decided to show up this week. I think he had one of the highest tight end performances of the week, if not the
Taylor
highest.
Must have been at the game.
She's at every game, so I don't know why he's not good.
There hasn't been the big media buzz that there was last year.
No. Darnell Mooney is like a top 10 wide receiver in fantasy.
Thanks to Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins, he's 12, so close. But Kirk Cousins just makes everybody good. He even made Kyle Pitts good.
Yeah.
Who I gave away for nothing.
20. Yeah, well, on the other side.
I gave him away. I gave him away so that I could start Tucker Kraft and not feel weird about it all the time.
And then Taysom Hill.
I guess that works. Only because he's playing Carolina.
You're flush with tight end talent.
Yeah. Then I'll put him in at quarterback if I really need him later on in the season.
But Lucas, I mean, Jonathan Taylor's finally playing football again too, which is good. Derrick Henry's solid. He does lose Diggs, which is tough for the future.
Yeah. That makes Nico Collins, when he comes back off injury,
I know. I'm ready.
He's gonna get the boost. Tank Dell had a really good game last night.
Richer.
Libby, very similar position to me, sneaks by, gets over that 100-point marker, takes out one of the worst teams in our league. And Sam, Josh Allen continues to perform. But again, if you look at his scores, it's like my game. You're like, how did he end up winning? A lot of down weeks for his players. Started T. Higgins, who got injured. 0
I did that too. I think that in another league, I did that. I think his out was very late coming, so I totally missed it. It's a good thing it didn't hurt him.
Yeah, and Libby had 22 points from Ramondre Stevenson on the bench, 15 from Zay Flowers, and 22 from Tyrone Tracy.
Remember how I told him to start Aaron Jones instead of Ramondre Stevenson last week?
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm glad that didn't cost you a loss, but whoops.
The one Patriots game where their offense is somewhat functional. And
they were playing the Jets, but yeah, fair.
Yeah, you cruised.
Oh, yeah. Just say no more. It's charmed. It's a charmed life over here.
It just seems to be the case that if you have the tight end one, you have tight end one and wide receiver one in Jamar Chase and George Kittle. So,
and a good Jalen Hurts game finally too. Because remember, I got
Joe
Jalen
Mixon
Hurts.
has been unstoppable. Yeah.
I had Jalen Hurts and George Kittle in the trade from Stefan, and they both. It was up and down at first, but I finally got a good Jalen Hurts game, and Joe Mixon's been good too since coming out of injury.
Yeah, your bench also looks like mine, where nobody on our bench scores, but we have very good starting lineups.
That's all that matters. We don't have big benches anyways.
No. Someone was telling me that they're in a league that had only 3 bench spots.
That would be really tough, but it would make the waivers a lot of fun.
All right, power rankings, a little bit of a switch up.
You want to talk losers, or do you want to do power
rankings?
Oh,
right. Nope, you're right. Nope, totally forgot about the losers. Ross.
I forget about the losers all the time.
Ross had like a kind of decent game for where he's been. He just didn't get a big performance from Drake London. That probably would have boosted him to beating me. But London just had a off game. He didn't really have any. I suppose Jacoby Myers, if you would have played him, it would have been a little bit closer.
Cade Otton,
for some
if you would
reason,
have kept him in his lineup. Well, I think Jake Ferguson's been hurt recently, but Cade Otton's definitely the hot hand right now.
Cade Otton's the only wide receiver that Baker Mayfield throws to now that both of his top wide receivers are injured.
That's true. I mean, he really doesn't have anybody else left to throw to.
Yeah. I had picked up Cade Otton in my other league for one of the guys that sometimes needs help with his lineup. And he had dropped him the week after I had picked him up for him. And I'm like, what are you doing? I gave you gold.
Yeah, that's tough. Ross also breaks the rule of if your kicker and defense score over 10 points, then you're automatically going to win. That didn't happen.
Stefan had a huge game from Lamar Jackson and Jahmyr Gibbs and still lost because he played Amari Cooper. And his kicker wasn't very good. That's my diagnosis.
That happens. That's like my analysis to that, is that it just happens because Amari Cooper was really good his first game with the Bills and then just was completely forgotten about this game. But that was the right decision to make. It just didn't work.
Yeah. Tom doesn't have that humongous game from CD. If he's about normal, Stefan probably takes that up. Nathan, who has now changed his team name, congratulations.
Or Libby changed it for him. That's my working theory.
Okay, changed it again for him. Keep us guessing. Kyren Williams is the single most consistent player in fantasy football. It's crazy. Brock Purdy had a great game, just not a lot from anyone else. Miami finally played well, but Tyreek didn't have a very good game. 10 points there.
Yeah, just Jaden Reed too.
Also, you can tell that Nathan's not paying any attention because Puka Nacua is still in his IR spot getting points.
Or like the rest of the world, me included, when that Vikings game started.
Realize that Puka was
wait
playing?
a minute, because like the whole storyline was, is Cooper Kupp going to come back? Is he going to get traded? And then they just kind of snuck Puka in there, and I feel like he was the reason why they won that game because he's really, really good. Having watched him, he's good at football.
Wide open all the time. Yeah, if Stafford has those two guys, the Rams are really tough.
He was slinging it. That made it.
That one touchdown throw where he ducked the end and then sidearm.
That should have been a sack. That's when I knew the game was over. It didn't matter. The face mask didn't matter, by the way, for anybody who was righteously angry for the Vikings, which you probably weren't, but the face mask didn't matter. And Kyren Williams is really good.
Yeah. I was watching that game with some people and we had the sound off, so we didn't really know what was going on. Because we all saw the face mask and then people were like kind of standing around, but there was no flag. So we were like, what's going on?
The referee saw it too, but he said he didn't.
Well, the defender puts his head in his hands I made this great play, but I face masked him.
If it's a play that actually matters more or early in the game, I think it's a bigger deal, but the game was kind of over.
Yeah. Seth, who has the lowest points for in the league, you can double check to make sure.
This may have been his highest score to date this season. Actually, I was going to check that, but I didn't have time.
Josh Jacobs, huge game. Kyle Pitts, biggest game of his career, probably. Devon Achane came back with Tua being back in. Pretty good for him. But he's 3-5. He's going to struggle probably the rest of the way. But just looking at his team's pretty solid. Like if he just had one more wide receiver, which if hopefully he played Tank Dell. I don't know if he did.
I haven't checked that. No. I can
Well,
confirm that is his highest point scoring of the season so far in a loss. That's interesting.
Yeah. Sam, much like his brother, must not be paying attention because he started Travis Etienne.
Sam may have an excuse because he's currently moving right now or is moving soon. So maybe that could be it. A lot of life stuff happening.
There's this thing called a phone, and it's usually in one of your pockets. And there's data everywhere in the United States. And you can just pull it out for 5 seconds and make a change.
Okay, I was gonna give him the benefit of the doubt, but that's a good point.
For all those people that are like, "Oh, I'm too busy, I can't play fantasy football," let me budget your time for you. Take 5 minutes every day and just check your roster and updates. 5 minutes. If you don't have 5 minutes, then you are a piss poor planner.
There's a reason why the bit on the league was that they would just change their lineups while they're pooping, because that's literally how long it takes.
Yeah, just do that. Take a poop at the top of every hour in the morning. Usually stuff doesn't happen in the afternoon. Where are we here? Yeah, Sam, if he didn't do that, probably wins the game. I'm just going to say that. That's pretty obvious, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Drew is 94 points. 94 points is an off day for Drew. Kenneth Walker didn't have a great game. Jordan Mason, not good.
He's second in points for, I'm pretty sure, behind me. So, yeah, that's for Drew is underperformance.
Yeah, with only a 66% chance of making the playoffs somehow.
That's the ESPN data.
Hey, you might have found some. Yeah. Well, Brian Thomas is hurt, so I was going to say you might have found something with Brian Thomas. Marvin Harrison back, good again. Ladd McConkey just sitting on that bench getting 26 points. The lad might be good the rest of the year.
I think the biggest hope that Drew has is
Baker Mayfield.
Christian McCaffrey coming back.
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to happen. Baker Mayfield is the second best quarterback in fantasy football.
Yeah, it's officially a thing. Insane. It was kind of maybe it was a overachieving the first couple weeks, but it's been a thing. Like, he's actually just going to be good from now on.
Even with both of his wide receivers gone, he still just slings the rock.
Cade Otton.
Yes. Let's see here. Did Seth play?
Are we ready for power rankings?
Yeah, throw them up there.
All right. Ba-boom.
Had to put a new person at the bottom. He still has more points for than Ross, technically, but Sam has lost 5 straight games. If you lose 5 straight games, probably going to have to put you at the bottom there.
You're not very powerful.
Yeah. So, Ross, you get to bump up. You're at 11 this week. Seth, again near the bottom. Wes, again near the bottom. I wish I could have put Stefan higher than Nathan. I really debated on it. I just couldn't pull the trigger. Maybe because I thought Nathan actually changed his team name. That could have been
if Libby, if you're watching this, let us know, because I have a feeling that Libby changed that for him.
Yeah. Tom might be moving up. If you can catch Drew here, you never know. Seth did not play Tank Dell, so there's 15 points on his bench.
Ouch.
Drew, right in the middle, as he's probably going to stay for the rest of the way through. Lucas gets to bump back up. I had talked 2 weeks ago that I thought Lucas was going to be right there at the top of the league, and then he lost last week pretty bad, but he's right back there. It's been a pretty close ring at the top here between Libby, me, and you. I gave you the top spot for this week because I just can no longer justify our difference in points for. even though I have won 5
Yeah.
weeks in a row. But I'm just kind of
Thank you.
squeaking by on a couple of these. So yeah, you are the deserved top in the league after scoring 148 points this past week.
I have had a very bad few years of fantasy football, so it restores my faith in myself to finally be good again. If this were the playoffs today and I get to pick my opponent, though, I don't know. I don't think I'd pick Drew because Drew scares me. I don't know if I'd pick Libby or Lucas. I might actually pick you to go against first.
Wow.
Interestingly enough,
It'd be another one of the last time I made the playoffs, I was also selected to get punished by the top seed, even though I wasn't the bottom seed. So
yeah, I might. Well, I don't know. I would take Nathan maybe at 7, because if he doesn't care about his team, I could take him off right away, and he's only good in the regular season. I don't know, but I'm looking at teams like Drew who can score a ton of points, and I would have nothing to do with.
hey, I'm projected for 131 points this week. After
and
Garrett Wilson
great segue.
dominated last night.
Garrett Wilson was a fantastic catch. Wow,
unbelievable. The Jumpman logo.
Yeah.
I didn't watch any of that game. Did that end up counting? Because it looked like on Twitter that it didn't count for a while.
No, it did count. I think people were just making the joke that it's like the Des Bryant catch that wasn't a catch against the Packers, but this was ruled an actual catch, and it deserved to be a catch.
There was like a full swing of like, I would just see tweets that were basically like, I can't believe they're not calling it a catch. I can't believe they're not calling it a catch. And then I was like, well, he has 2 touchdowns, so
yeah,
they must have called it a catch.
It was a catch. Good throw by Rodgers, but that's.
I mean, it was a throw. He threw it in the area. I wouldn't say it's like the best throw of Rodgers' career.
He also threw a touchdown pass to Devontae Adams, who Lucas had in his last 18 points from Devontae, which is probably the highest he scored all season.
Yeah, I think I was a little worried that Devontae joining the team was going to affect Garrett Wilson, but I think it just ends up helping both of them because now Garrett doesn't get like double covered the entire game.
Well, and that's always been the thing about the Jets this year is that they should be much better than they are. They fired their coach to get that good interim coach Juju, and that might be working for him right now. But they should have always been better than what they were.
Yeah, and CJ Stroud looks not good.
Yes, I benched him in the
Packers. The Packers like fooled him, and then the Jets just shut him out. Basically, like Mixon was the only thing working, just like against the Packers.
Yeah, it's probably a bit more of a sophomore slump for him than anything else, and maybe it's just because teams can scheme against him now, or he's still got some of that rookie jitters. I'm not sure, but
have you heard the thing that he's been doing this season though? He's been going up to like rookie quarterbacks when the Texans play him and like sunning them.
Yeah, because
like,
he did it with Caleb Williams.
Yeah, he's been like, hey, you just keep sticking in there, boy. You got this. It's like, well, Jaden Daniels might already be better than you.
That's true. I mean, I think last season he had Nico Collins healthy all year and Tank Dell for part of the season, but
I think Nico is a humongous blow to that offense.
Yeah, and now with Diggs being out too, I mean, if he might just have to learn how to game manage, and who knows? But
Nico might be the 3rd best wide receiver in the NFL.
Yeah. I don't know if that's just your maize and blue bias talking, but
he was not very good on Michigan.
That's true.
He was like a 4th round draft pick.
Yeah, and he's like for PPR too. He catches a lot of balls. I'm waiting for him to come back. I'm checking every week.
He reminds me a lot of the career trajectory of Devontae Adams, where we always heard on the Packers like he's good, and then he had the whole thing where like when he started playing, he dropped the ball all the time.
Dropped the ball, yeah.
And we're like, get rid of this guy. He stinks. And then all of a sudden, he's the best wide receiver in the NFL. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah, I do remember
that
that.
works.
Yeah, he can't come back soon enough. Not that I need him, but also Joe Mixon is good, and if they just keep leaning on him while their receivers are out, that'll be good for me too.
Yeah, Cincinnati definitely misses Joe Mixon.
Joe Mixon, who I drafted for $18, by the way, just putting that out there.
Yeah, it's a great pick. I mean, I got Brian Robinson for like 12, so
I got J.K. Dobbins
he's
for
pretty
4.
good. I know. This is the year of paying nothing for your running backs and paying high for your wide receivers working out.
Or paying $41 for Kareem Hunt in free agency.
Yeah, that helps too. Yeah, so I'm projecting to beat Tom by 26 points currently. We'll see if that holds. But yeah, Garrett Wilson, usually when Garrett Wilson scores over 20 points for me, I'm going to probably win.
Those should be a good Jefferson game too, probably.
Yeah, Ross is still projected to lose to Wes. He got 7 points from his kicker so far. If DK Metcalf plays decent and Drake London has a normal game, I could see Ross pulling that one out. It's still going to be tight. We got Stefan, who is projected to lose to Seth.
Interesting.
Seth could sneak back into the playoff race here. Yeah. We'll see if the Packers can stop the Lions run game.
Yeah. Seth smartly, he benched CJ Stroud as well, and he's starting Jordan Love.
Who might not play.
Yeah, I know. Well, maybe he'll grab Malik Willis off of waivers or something. But I do think that benching CJ Stroud was
a good sneaky play.
Him. Even though he benched Tank Dell, which you could have put in, but
Nathan gets 9.5 points from Breece Hall. Definitely not what you'd expect from him. 5 points under projection. Libby is projected to win that 117 to 107 currently. I think Libby's going to roll.
And the Lions are playing the Packers, and the Lions just are going to score a bajillion points. So
we'll see.
That's going to help.
We'll see.
Okay.
If Malik plays, we'll be running the ball down their throat. You know.
Okay.
We'll clock control. I trust
Good luck. Good luck.
Lucas is projected to beat Drew. He got 18.6 points from Devontae. He is still projected to beat him, even though his kicker is currently on bye and not adding to his projection at all. So Lucas is probably going to roll there. But Drew does have the lad in the starting lineup.
He's the next coming of Adam Thielen. Lad McConkey.
If Drew had a number 2 wide receiver to go with Marvin Harrison, and he's got it with Lad. He just needs one more guy to fill out that, which Brian Thomas Jr. would have been if he wouldn't have gotten hurt.
Right, and his Seattle bias. He's got Lockett in there, but I don't know who else you could. The waiver wire is kind of a barren wasteland right now. So it's just you kind of just got to roll with who you got.
You are projected to lose to Sam currently.
I wasn't until last night's game, but yeah, the Jets defense put up 13 points.
Decent game for him. Joe Mixon's still big. I mean, if Kareem Hunt hits that projection, I think he'll be just fine.
Yeah, I think Kittle's on a bye, so I'm putting in TJ, who's finally back from injury.
Eagles are playing Jacksonville.
Yeah, that's true. That should help. Devontae Smith is kind of a wild card where he's boom or bust for sure. And then again, I'm facing AJ Brown, so if Devontae Smith can steal a few touchdowns away from him, that could be all the difference I need.
You didn't want to risk it with Joe Burrow going against the Raiders.
The quarterback decision is tricky. I feel like I got to roll with Jalen. So I could easily start there. Joe Burrow's the 5th ranked quarterback. Jalen Hurts is the 9th ranked quarterback. They're both good. It's just
Burrow kind of had those, and he had big games. That's it. It's the week ahead. I think more than likely the top 3 teams will stay the top 3 teams. I think you'll probably end up winning. I would assume I'll win. And then I think Libby is going to cruise. So,
yeah, I think we're at the point where the good teams are very much separated from the bad teams. I was kind of hoping we get a Libby letter this week, but maybe next week.
You really troubled me with this picking me if you're the number 1 overall seed. So I got to make sure that I get the number 1 overall seed.
Just trying to psych you out. I actually don't. I mean, we've got 5 weeks until the playoffs, but I don't see too much changing about the league standings before then.
Yeah, I mean, if Jaden Daniels gets hurt, I'm in a tough spot because Caleb Williams, the Bears have like the toughest schedule in the league going forward. Caleb Williams does not play very well against good teams. See, last weekend when he played the 22nd ranked defense, the Washington Commanders, and could barely do anything because his offensive line can't stay in front of guys. And even when he does, he throws the ball 900 miles an hour past wide receivers or over their head.
And and then on the other side, Jaden Daniels gets helped by people just going like this to the ball to bop it around 10 more yards to get a touchdown.
Yeah, there was a 6-point difference going into that play between Caleb Williams and Jaden. Jaden was at like 15 points. Caleb ended up at 9, and he got 7 points on the Hail Mary to end at 22.
Which is it's a good play. It's a little lucky. I can't believe that he's projected for 23 points this weekend. It's crazy how good he is.
Projections love him, and he's been pretty consistently in the 20s when he plays the full game.
If he doesn't get hurt, if Nick Chubb can come back from injury and be solid for you, your team does look pretty scary. And if Jefferson and Wilson, that combo is probably the top wide receiver combo in the league.
And if I would have just started Mostert over Chubb, like I would have had a much better game. I got Mostert sitting there. That's my big decision of every week is, do I keep sticking with Chubb?
I think he'll keep getting better, especially because the Browns are kind of a mess right now. But the Browns are a mess and they can just hand the ball off. Though Jameis does like to sling it. He's a fun quarterback.
Jameis is the most ridiculous person in NFL history. He's like he's like the Yogi Berra of the NFL.
Yeah.
He says very funny, crazy stuff. Whatever don't let the whatever be your ceiling because there's a man on the moon.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. Or when he's like, play for the logo on our helmet. Oh, wait, we don't have decals on our helmet.
I think at this point he knows that he's kind of weird and funny and he's leaning into it.
For sure. If you saw any of his Part of My Take interview, he just made those guys laugh for 30 minutes.
Yeah. It really started with the Eat a W thing, which was awesome.
But he was doing that in college, so
yeah,
it's all good. His eyes get so crazy. He goes like, loving the. He said, I saw one. I don't know if this is real or not. I think it was real, but I'm sure it was a joke that he was saying. But he's like, when he played for the Buccaneers, he's like, I thought until I got LASIK that Bruce Arians was black. Which is hilarious.
And that's only a joke that he can make.
Very, very funny guy.
Stay true, Jameis. Super quick, top Halloween candy, power ranking.
Oh boy,
because that's what every podcast, every sports podcast does this around this time of the year. Halloween
specific, so one that I would only. I did not eat one piece of candy yesterday on All Hallows Eve. I had no trick-or-treaters. I interacted with no one in costumes. So really lived it up there. I don't know how I got away with that, but I did.
Good for you.
I love a Reese's Fast Break.
Oh, that's interesting because one of my kids got a Fast Break in their bucket, and I was like, I have not seen one of those in years, and I stole it from them.
I would say if we're talking specifically Halloween candy, I never am like in a gas station like, oh, I should get a fast break. I usually get a Snickers at that point. Actually, Snickers has their own line of protein bars now that have 20 grams of protein in them.
Really?
Don't taste half bad. So I get a Snickers protein bar when I need a little sweet.
All right. That's new information. Me, I'm partial to 100 grand. 100 grand is a sneaky, underrated candy bar.
A lot going on in the 100 grand.
It's basically just a crunch bar, but with caramel in it and nougat. It's so good.
Yeah, I would say my other backup, you don't usually get them because you don't get the full size stuff. But if I got a bag of peanut butter M&Ms, then I'm feeling pretty good.
No,
that's peanut butter M&Ms.
Those are trash. But the quick parent corner is the best part about Halloween is after the kids go to bed and you just go through their buckets and steal all their good candy.
Yeah, I don't know what Liam was doing. I don't know if he got candy at school or what was going on, but I think we missed trick or treating because I think he went with his dad on Sunday. I think that's when Milwaukee was doing that.
There are some weekend ones, yeah.
So we missed out on that, and I saw kids going around my neighborhood on Sunday. None of them knocked on my door, so very thankful about that because I was just watching football. I don't know what I would have done with them.
Just giving them, I don't know. You got some extra Snickers bar hanging around.
Here's the trick you can pull. Walk my dog for me. We got the Batman coming up on Monday. I've watched it. I know if you've been listening to the podcast, Chris and I have no idea what actually happened in the Batman. I do now know what happened in the Batman, and I watched all of Penguin too.
Oh wow, you went above and beyond. I know James is reading the comic books. He's doing his research.
I have the comic books in my possession now. I have read 3 pages of them. I think I might be like comic book dyslexic because I tried reading it and it just kind of made my head hurt.
I've never gotten into them either.
Even though I can read like very complicated philosophical novels, I cannot wrap my head around
too many text bubbles.
Text bubbles. Well, and like trying to follow. Are they left to right in this one? Or are they top to bottom? I don't know.
As a graphic designer, I can tell you that it's harder to read text that is not singularly aligned. So there's probably something to that.
That's what it is. Can't pay attention. Not looking for it. Yeah, that should be an interesting episode because I don't know what I'm going to say about the movie yet.
And I believe not to continue to market your show, I believe you are having people decide the next series for you.
Correct. Yeah. So if anyone wants to jump in on our Facebook page and throw a vote in, I believe it is between the Terminator franchise, the Die Hard franchise, the Evil Dead franchise, if you want a horror movie franchise in there, and Indiana Jones.
I've seen very few movies from all of those.
Yes. We might have juiced the vote a little bit towards Evil Dead by some of the groups that we shared it to. I don't think that's going to end up being the pick. I think it's either going to be Indiana Jones, Terminator, or Die Hard.
Indiana Jones would be... The Indiana Jones movies are... there's a lot of different takes about them, so it would be interesting to dissect those a little bit.
Yeah, you get 3 good ones, and then 2, man, they were old while they were making this.
You could have James on for the last one, because apparently he liked that one a lot too, the one that came out last year.
Dial of Destiny. Yeah, we might just have to keep bringing James on for movies that neither of us like, and we need somebody to cheer for. We should have brought him on for AVP, because he likes AVP. He does like that one. Which is the second worst movie that we've covered on the show.
You could to make if you did Indiana Jones to make the fourth one better, you could try to get Shia LaBeouf. What's he up to these days? Just get Shia LaBeouf on there and have him talk about the movie.
He was in Megalopolis.
Oh, that's right. The shark movie.
Not the shark movie. It was
Wait.
the Francis Ford Coppola movie
I was
that
thinking
just came out.
okay. I was thinking the Meg. That shows how
No.
ignorant I am.
Nope.
This is quite a different movie then.
Yeah. But we'll see on the other side of Batman. I think I can spoil that Ben Libby is going to come on for our wrap-up show.
Ooh, yeah, I was a little bummed you didn't get him for Rises.
Yeah, so schedules didn't quite work out, so I was like, the wrap-up show is going to be more fun anyway. He gets to fantasy draft the Batman universe with us, and having 3 people on the draft doing the draft is better than just me and Chris going back and forth. So hopefully we can make that work. Little segue, for a fantasy show to talk about fantasy drafting from a movie.
There you go.
Again, not an idea that I made up. That is done on almost every
all fantasy everything
podcast of all time. Yeah, I don't listen to that show. It's too woke now.
I was never
really mad. They got really mad over COVID.
Okay, yeah,
the main Ian Carmel lost his job because the Late Late Show with James Corden stopped being, and he was like the head writer for that, and then he just got married and skinny.
That's the worst thing that can happen to you, I guess, if you're funny.
I know what I'm doing. Next year, I'm going to be the most boring podcast person that's ever existed because I'm just going to be married and skinny.
There you go. I can't think of a better way to end than that.
All right. Enjoy your football this weekend. Hopefully,
start being better so that I have something more to talk about other than how good I am. Just PSA. Just start being better, please, everybody.
I hope the Packers beat the Lions.
That if they do, that'll be something to talk about.
I can't believe I've gotten to a point in my life where I have to worry about the Packers beating the Lions.
Yeah, we do have to worry about the Lions, and it's a very weird time to be alive. But they're good.
I don't even know what to do. All right, football.